Are you looking for free publicity and advertising? Want to know one unusual way to get it? Stay tuned and find out. What is up? What is up? What the hell is up, my dark horse friends and family? Welcome back to another dose of free advertising learning. Yep, I'm your dark horse host, Tracy Brinkmann, and I wanted to share with you something I've seen over the years of my career and over the years period. A unique way that some of the big boys have been garnering large swaths of free publicity. Now, let me give you a little caveat here. To make this work, you're going to need a beloved product or a service. Whether it's free or paid, doesn't matter. But it's going to be something, it doesn't have to be a household name, but it certainly has to have an ardent, loyal following in your particular niche. So if you have a large number of folks that are already at your service, maybe you're at their service, you can certainly leverage this. And if you're just building, you can still leverage it. You just have to make sure folks become aware of it. Let me tell you the story of Skittles. Now, probably don't have to tell a lot of people what Skittles is, but here's what Skittles candy did to garner millions of dollars in free publicity. Now, this happened back, Skittles launched back in 1979. And, it's the candy that comes in all those little pieces, all those different colors, and each color has its own individual flavor. You might know them for their Taste the Rainbow slogan. We've all seen the commercials at one point or another, whether we eat it or not. Now, back in 2013, so we're talking, 8 years ago now, right? At the time of recording this, Skittle, let's say, quote unquote, broke their product. And this is the key right here. They broke their product by replacing the lime flavor with green apple. It seems like no big deal. Hey, I just take this green one and I'll change the flavor. Yeah. Well, there was about 131,000 people that weren't too fond of that. All these disgruntled lime-loving fans took to social media to voice their outrage over the change. And Skittles received plenty of free advertising with this change and all that ensuing outrage. Guess what else happened? Yeah, sales increased. Yeah, there may have been 131,000 people that were disgruntled and upset about the change, but sales went up. Now, in 2021, Skittles went back to the Let's Shake Up the Rainbow, and they announced the Restore the Rainbow campaign to once again include lime Skittles in their product pack. Again, one more time, Skittles received free press for this decision and lots of free advertisements. To this year, Skittles is still doing an apology tour to make amends for taking away that lime flavor in the first place. Now, again, they're receiving massive free press for this marketing campaign. Now, you could call it a stunt, right? But I'm not going to use that, right? I think when I was actually typing up my notes, my word processor kept auto-filling and insists that I don't use the words. And anyway, you get what I'm saying. So the question becomes, do you have a particular product that is doing well for you? Maybe it's your number one product. Maybe it's your number 3 product. Who knows what it is? You might want to break it for some free publicity and then fix it and get even more publicity, right? It seems to be working for Skittles. Let's look at another big one that many of us are aware of. New Coke. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I worked for Coke for 14 years. Yeah, 14 years. Now, let's think about this for a brief moment. Coca-Cola, coming out of World War II, they held 60% of the market share for colas, right? By 1983, right, which isn't a long time. I mean, they've been around 100 years, 110 now, I believe it is. By 1983, they had declined down to, I believe it was like 24%. And obviously, this was the hard work of competition from Pepsi. Dun, dun, dun. Pepsi began to outsell Coke when it came to the supermarket arenas. Now, Coke held on to places like venues and soda machines and fast food restaurants. That was their foothold. But, they had slipped from 60% to 24%. That's over half. And so there are the pundits out there that say the new Coke introduction was really a way for them to get this free publicity. And, that's one thought. That's one train of thought. I've heard other trains of thoughts, but it certainly worked, because when the new Coke came out, people were up in arms to the point there were actually, I want to say riots, but there were gatherings in the streets of protests. That's a good word for it. There were protests, large swaths of people that were protesting new Coke. And within a short period of time, I believe it was just a couple of years, Coke Classic was reintroduced. And of course, all that free publicity happened one more time. People's belief in the product was reinstated, and everyone was happy once again. And they've been holding on to that number one spot since then. If my memory serves correct, I may be off a little bit on what their current market share is versus Pepsi, but I know during that time they regained a large swath of share and sales as a result of a maneuver of Coke Classic. So pause a minute. Take a look at one of your, maybe it's a waning product. It's the sales have been slipping. You're like, okay, how can I fix this? The sales are still steady, right? It's not like it's not selling, and your customers like it. Is there something inside there that you can, I'm doing air quotes here, break, right? Maybe you change it. Maybe you alter it. Say, hey, I'm going to do this instead of that. And tell everyone on the planet, here's what we're going to do. And to some people, it might be a way to, oh, wow, that's a new way of doing it. Let me check this out. And they may buy the product as a result of your break, for lack of a better phrase, your alternative tactic that you're going to use. Meanwhile, inside the camps of your tribe, your people are going, hey, wait a minute. We liked that. We're used to that. And that's the key. I think we're used to that. Please don't change it. We don't like change as human beings, do we? Right? We want the status quo. We want things to run smoothly. When you come in there and stir up the pot and break something and change something, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I like the fact that you use Zoom for your weekly conference calls, or I like the fact that you do this for me or do that for me, or include this document or this worksheet or this workbook on a regular basis. What do you mean you're not going to do it that way anymore? All right? Now, when you replace something, of course, you want to replace it with something that some folks are going to believe is better, right? You're going to replace that lime with green apple. Some folks like lime, folks prefer green apple. The green apple folks are going to come into your sphere of influence with that introduction of your new green apple break. And then the lime folks are going to go, wait a minute, you need to bring back the lime. So what do? Yeah, you reintroduce the lime. You bring it back. I've listened to the audience. Now, I know some folks might be going, well, that's kind of schmarmy, isn't it? Is it? Because changing things is a way of improving your product. Now, I'm not saying to go break something and just take something away for the sake of taking it away. I don't think Skittles would have ever thought that. They may have thought that maybe lime was our least favorite flavor in there. Maybe Coca-Cola changed the flavor for an alternative reason. One of the things you may notice if you go look at an old Coke can, pre-new Coke, you would see that it included sugar, cane sugar, raw sugar. Afterwards, it didn't have that as an ingredient anymore. Just footnote there for you. So maybe you're changing it for other reasons, so you're trying to figure out a way to make it better. And that's the goal of all of our products, right? We want to make things better for ourselves, for our customers, for our clients, for our prospects. So you take that lime out of your product lineup and you replace it with something you think is better. Some folks are going to go, well, wait a minute, I liked the lime. I know I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but I'm trying to drive this point home. And you say, okay, that's fine. Please try the green apple. I think it will work for you. And they're going to, some of them are going to shake their head and say, no, it's not. Please bring back the lime. And what do? Yeah, you bring back the lime, but you still keep the green apple. That way you've brought in a whole host of folks. And then you could also do, you'll get the free press out of bringing in the green apple and get rid of the lime. You'll get the free press of bringing the lime back And then you'll get the free press of, look, we've made green apple and lime work together in whatever version of your break of your product is. All right? I think I have beat that one to death by now. Until next time, think successfully and take action. Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this!
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkmann.